We're gonna go to music news. I got some crazy news that I want to tell you.
All right, cool.
Did you see that Angelina Jolie is adopting another child?
She has more adopted children than I have keys on my keychain.
Here's my question. I mean, I'm all for adopting children, and that's great.
Yes.
Why can't she adopt an American child? She stops in these countries and buys a kid like it's a souvenir.
Yeah,
it seems like
you. It's like, why didn't you guys bring a child back from L.A. or from California?
That's a good question. Maybe next time we'll do that.
Yes, please bring one.
But I mean, seriously, America's who made you famous and gave you the, I'm not opposed to adopting, these refugee children at all. But I just think now it's almost like.
How many does she have?
This will be number 7.
Does she think they're Pokemon that she has to collect them all?
And I think I think this particular one, she wanted their ages to be the same as another.
Really?
Yeah, which is, her and Brad Pitt have become very, very weird people.
So they want them to be the same age.
Yeah,
so it's
bizarre,
like, here's your new
twins.
brother.
Yeah,
this is your new twin, but you just met him.
Exactly.
Kind of weird.
I just think that it's weird, and I think that it's Sandra Bullock, right? That she adopted the baby from New Orleans, and not only
I don't know.
She did, and not only did she adopt the baby from New Orleans, she moved her life to New Orleans, so the baby was around.
See, now that's cool.
And that's the way it should be.
See, now you're up on all this because your daughter Katie,
Because
obviously,
Katie
is
keeps me
just
posted.
engulfed in all of this.
Yes. As a matter of fact, next week we will have our 16 and pregnant report, and
I was going to say, how's Bridoplasty doing?
I haven't even seen it since we
have
covered
I.
on the show. Oh, wait, we forgot about the Kim Marie Brett Michaels report.
Oh, the Kim Marie Brett Michaels report.
And Brett tomorrow is going to be, what is the Brett Michaels report tomorrow? Surgery?
He got surgery? She's nodding. Yes, he has surgery. Is he going to wear the bandana in surgery?
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah,
and in recovery.
Course.
He's the only guy who gets to wear the bandanas.
Yeah.
No, we wish Brett the best, and I guarantee he scheduled his surgery for after the championship Pittsburgh game because he's a huge Pittsburgh fan.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be there.
He will.
I'm sure he will.
You want to get to music news?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay, we started to cover this last week. We talked about it a little bit. The Dire Straits.
Oh, the Canadian.
The Money for Nothing song. It was banned. Well, this week, Canadians broadcast regulator, the CRTC, is putting pressure on the group that banned the song, the Canadian Broadcast Standard Council. They're saying that, first of all, the Canadian Broadcast Standard Council doesn't have the right or the authority to just ban a song like that. Mm-hmm. And they're also urging that they relook at it due to the artistic intent of the lyrics. The lyric is, of course, said to be offensive towards homosexuals.
Right, exactly. And it's 26 years after.
It's 26 years after the song came out. You've been playing it for 2.5 decades. And now you decide that, the lyric is offensive.
Is that on the Brothers in Arms album? I think it is. And that was like Dire Straits' biggest album. Yeah. I mean, that was like a prerequisite album that you had to own in your collection in the 80s was that album. So I just think the whole thing is nonsensical. If I were Dire Straits, I would do a tour of Canada right now because they have so much press.
They do. They have a ton of press.
I would go there right now. Mark Knopfler, go on tour.
Speaking of touring, there's a couple bands whose 20th anniversary is coming up this year in 2011. One of those bands, Pearl Jam. It's their 20th anniversary. They just released Live on 10 Legs, which is a new live album that they
just... It's doing huge, too. It was reviewed really well.
I'm actually going to try to pick it up. I'm a Pearl Jam fan. When we saw them, we weren't that impressed. Yeah. But, I mean, I like Pearl Jam. But what they're going to do, I guess, for their 20th anniversary, they're planning a tour, but they're also going to do a big festival that they're going to put on somewhere around their hometown of Seattle with just tons of bands, huge, blowout. For their 20th anniversary. And then another band whose 20th anniversary is coming up is the Dave Matthews Band, and they announced that they're doing something very similar. They're doing 4 of those festivals, presumably one in the north, south, west, and east throughout the summer. They're going to put on their own sort of festival with tons of bands and have their 20th anniversary sort of blowout deal.
It's funny because in my head, it seems like Dave Matthews has been around longer than Pearl Jam. I don't know why that is to me.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, to me, I know exactly.
Well, I mean, Dave Matthews has been relevant for the entire 20 years of their career.
Yeah, Pearl Jam has had its times, where it's been, in and out. But if you'd like to know, March 14th, 1991 was the first Dave Matthews Band gig.
Really? That just seems like it seems like they have become so ingrained in rock and roll.
Well,
that
yeah,
it just seems like they've been around for longer.
Yeah,
That's
ever
it.
since,
Funny.
I guess you could say late '93, early '94. I mean, they've just always been, one of the bands.
Yeah.
That, has always been relevant. So those are.
I'm surprised they haven't done a Super Bowl. I mean, I really am surprised. On a quick Pearl Jam note, I seen them open for the Stones, and they were phenomenal. When we seen them here in Buffalo, I wasn't that impressed. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the sound or what. I mean, they had a lot of energy, and I mean, it wasn't like they mailed
it's
it in.
just weird.
It's just
weird show.
And then another music news: Slash from Guns N' Roses was asked to allow some Guns N' Roses tunes to be played on Glee, and he said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want to know what he said?
Uh-oh.
This is his reasoning. Glee is worse than Grease. Grease is bad enough. I look at Grease now and I think between High School Musical and Glee, Grease was a work of art.
He's got a point, though, really.
He does not want Guns N' Roses to have anything to do with Glee.
I'm surprised that he has any input whatsoever because I was always under the assumption, and this falls back to when we had Jonathan Brown on from Lips at Screen talking about copyright law. I thought he signed all the rights to Guns N' Roses away over to Axl. So I'm surprised that he has. Well, maybe he has writing credits still, I guess.
And it's not like Slash, shies away from these things. He lets Guitar Hero use his likeness and stuff. So it's not like he doesn't want to be out there in pop culture. It's just he's not a fan of Glee apparently.
Marshall just released a new Slash amp. They actually went into the studio, listened to the master tapes.
Is it called the Slamp?
It is. No, it's not.
I just thought of that.
It's pretty funny, though. You're very clever.
Funny.
You're very clever.
I'm using my whole brain.
They went in and actually got sound samples of the amp that he used, which was the Silver Jubilee Marshall for all the amp nerds out there, on Appetite for Destruction, and actually recreated that amp. So that's Marshall's new amp. We've come to the end of another show. I want to thank Michael Lavery for joining us. I want to thank you, Joshua.
I want to thank you for coming back, and I'm sorry that you were
stranded.
help to you. I'm sorry I stranded you at the airport.
I want to thank Sharon and Bob for picking me up at the airport. And once again, folks, if you heard it on the X. Heard it on the X.